The Houston Texans made a really smart move. And I think what happens a lot of times, you just go on next move, next move. What's going on with the team? It's like, hold on, we need to talk about the move that they made that's really paying off. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel about teams. We cover teams that just we enjoy covering and that just kind of don't get the love nationally. And that's the Houston Texans. And we've really had fun covering them because they've got a really similar story to the Detroit Lions. And the guy I'm going to talk about in this video, same thing. So the guy I'm talking about is your head coach, DeMeco Ryans. And why this came up was Nick Caserio was on the Pat McAfee show and talked about DeMeco Ryans. And so to hear the GM talk about your coach is really important. And so you make the move to go get DeMeco Ryans, which it's interesting because I thought, like, we live here in Michigan. So like Michigan Wolverines, the big thing is like, it's got to be a Michigan man and there's got to be a tie to the university. And I honestly thought that was such baloney. It's like, just give me a good coach. I don't care if he has ties or whatever, but I think it matters. And because they really know the fan base, and that matters. Is the fans. Like the fans know that what helps them, and the whole thing. It's a back and forth thing that is really important. So DeMeco Ryans played there, legend, and it's just like, man, he knew what it had to happen there. When you look at the previous coaches, it's just like, are you kidding me? Lovey Smith. Like, what are we doing? Does he give me some energy, right? Give me some energy. Same thing with the Detroit Lions. They had Matt Patricia. I don't know. You're kind of smart. You're with the Patriots. Like, you want to coach? It's just, no one ever liked that. And then you get Dan Campbell, played with the Lions, knows that, just like, man, come on. We got to just be tough. Like, we're not glitz and glam. Like, I don't know. Texans. We're here in Texas. We got to do something. We're not the Cowboys. We're not like this national brand yet. I don't know if we ever will be. We got to spice it up. So that's what Caserio said. DeMeco is so consistent day to day. Everybody understands the expectation on a day-to-day basis. We see football through the same lens, so that helps. My job is just to support him as much as possible. Players respect the hell out of him because he's so real. I think that's a really important one right there. Is come on, players aren't stupid. Come on, help them out. Be real. What do they need to do? And I love that. And then here's what he said in the locker room. He said, we don't have a lot of team rules, but one is protect the team and no energy vampires. I love that. The coaches are going to give you the best that they have, and that's what we expect from the players in return. I was just talking about that energy. There's got to be an energy. There's got to be a want to be a Houston Texan and to just go out and play good. And, just it's so weird how I've shifted from it just grab whatever to, no, you got to have somebody that's got a little bit of a tie, a little bit of like something that where they want it to succeed versus I just want to win football games. No, it means more. It's the city. I played here. I know what it's like to kind of get disrespected by the Cowboys, or you know what I'm saying? So it's huge. So here's what Stephen A. Smith said about Dallas versus the Houston Texans. He said, you see down in Dallas. So what's going to happen to Dallas, Texas? They're going to sit up there and monitor the situation. And it's one thing for you to not make the Super Bowl. That's bad. It's another to not make the NFC Championship game in 29 years. But it's another thing to have the Texans, who have a younger quarterback. They have a better coach, 100%. Check. And these brothers ain't going to cost you $60 million in the salary cap. They got to pay CeeDee Lamb, blah, blah, blah. You got to figure out how to pay Parsons. And all the Houston Texans are doing is saying, howdy, we're here. You understand. We're focused on the right things. I'm just saying, 100% focused on the right things, building through the draft, right? Smart trades, but also adding blue chip players in free agency. I mean, there's only a few players I would have added this free agency. Danielle Hunter's one of them. Trading for Joe Mixon. Jeff Okudah, I thought was a great pickup. Those kind of low risk, high reward, don't know, let's try it out type of situations. I think that's awesome for the Texans. So in order for them to do that, you have to have a quarterback, which they do. We'll get to him in a second, but you have to have a coach where the culture is just set. Like, man, come on, let's go. it's not dysfunctional. And the more you're around football and you just kind of pay attention to other teams, there's a lot of dysfunctional ownership, a lot of dysfunctional GM to head coach. Dysfunctional is too strong of a word, but just yeah, it's not great, right? Where here, you've got a great coach, got a great quarterback, got a great GM. That's it. That's the recipe. Now that's very difficult to do, and it's taken the Lions my entire lifetime to figure that out. Where you've got great GM, great coach, great quarterback, adding pieces smartly. It's hard to do, and half the teams in this league cannot do it. They don't have it. They're looking for it. They're trying to find the right pieces. I mean, the Chicago Bears, they're like, I don't know. Here we go. I hope this works. We've got the GM, the coach he's okay, Eberflus, and we got to get a quarterback. Let's go, Caleb Williams. I hope you work, right? So there's so many things. So again, we're Detroit Lions fans, love following the Texans and just giving you an unbiased look into your team. If you're new, would love if you would subscribe and just kind of help us out there. But we'll go back to CJ Stroud as we've been on this train of watching the Texans ever since they took CJ Stroud. That's about when we started this channel kind of last summer. And we're like, man, Stroud is different. He will be a good NFL quarterback. He was a good college quarterback. But I think there's just special nuances to the game that he will flourish in versus in college. You know what? Just run. You're a quarterback, run it. Run it. Try to make something work. I mean, that works in college almost better than a really good passer sometimes. But you get to the higher skill level in the NFL, and that's where CJ Stroud's really shining versus Bryce Young. So you got the coach, got the quarterback. I think it's just awesome what the Houston Texans are doing. They did really smart free agent signings, really solid in draft. And I'll say this, the draft was not exciting for the Texans. But the more you watch, the more you're like, you know what? Exciting is not the answer. It's exciting for the fans and it's exciting in the moment, but everybody knows you would much rather win on Sundays in the fall than in April and May. And the team that does that so consistently is the Packers. The Packers are weird and boring in free agency and the draft especially, free agent especially. But the Packers always is like, man, that's right. Where'd they get that guy? How'd they get that guy? So shout out to the Packers. I don't know why I said shout out to the Packers. Can't stand the Packers. Why did I say shout out to the Packers? No, I'm not giving them I don't know why I brought them up. I don't know why I brought them up in this video. Can't stand the Packers. Go Lions. Go Texans. Make sure you subscribe. Appreciate everybody putting your comments in there. We don't always respond to them, but we read just about every single one of them. And we will see all of you on the next one.